Am I the a-hole for expecting my sister to plan my wedding for free and demoting her to guest when she wouldn't? I also told anyone who took her side that I was not helping them anymore either. My fiancé and I have a small accounting office. We do pretty well on account of both of us being bilingual, English and Spanish for me, and English and Ukrainian for him. About 10% of my business is family and friends of the family. I have taken barter for work more often than you can imagine, all above board and documented. My aunt paid in empanadas 1 year. My uncle had his mom make us a huge batch of tamales. Even my dad has been helping my fiancé fix up his truck. I've had to pick him up more than once because my mom stuffs him, and my dad gets him loaded on aguardiente. Everyone we have ever traded with has provided fair exchange. I have done my sister's accounting since she started her wedding planning company. Obviously, she has nothing to trade, so I have been doing it for free. First, to help her get started, and now because we just fell into that rut. But now I am getting married. I told everyone at dinner at my mom and dad's house. I asked her if she would plan my wedding and be my maid of honor. She said yes to maid of honor, but not to planning my wedding. I asked her why not, and she said I would need to pay for her services, that she can't do free stuff for her family because she needs to make money at her job. She literally said it like I didn't know what a job was. So I talked to my fiancé and then to my parents. We told my sister that she would be getting an invitation, but that she was no longer in the wedding party. I also gave her all her files for the year on a USB drive. I said she needed to take her business elsewhere. My mom and dad told her that I was right, and that they were disappointed that she wanted to make money off me after everything I did to help her. She went to social media to complain, and a few people took her side, which is fair. I don't expect everyone to see my point, but then a few started contacting me. I listened and then asked them if I should continue working for her for free. Most said no. A few said family helps family. If I did their taxes, I told them I was not doing them this year or in the future. They tried to backpedal, but I held strong. My sister says she won't come. I told her to then RSVP no. She said she wasn't thinking when she said no, but not my problem. She has 2 months to get a new accountant. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. Anyone is an a-hole if they expect any paid service for free. So you are telling me it's retroactively bill her for all my work? That would take a good chunk out of her budget for the year. You missed an opportunity there. Your response should have been, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we charged family." Don't worry, I'll calculate and send you the bill for all of the years of service I've provided for free. Not the a-hole. It's not too late to send that invoice for services rendered in the past. Not the a-hole. It's one thing to want to get paid for your services. What she forgot to consider is that she was getting a really good freaking deal from you. She should have taken the exposure on this one. Now she's going to spend money on her own accountant and lose a client she could have used to pad her portfolio. She sounds too dumb to run a business. It's going to fail, and she will continue to blame everyone but herself. Wait until she does look for a new accountant and finds out what it is going to cost her. Paying for personal taxes is nowhere near the same level as business accounting. Now she has to pay for both. I wish I could be a fly on the wall when that happens. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving wife at home after she revealed that she was going to wear white to my brother's wedding? So my wife and my brother's wife don't get along. My wife has a bit of a temper, but my sister-in-law isn't a saint either. However, I was never going to let my wife pull something at the wedding, which she tried to do by wearing a white dress. I explicitly told her not to even think about it. She's done it once before, and no doubt she'd do it again. She can be that petty. She said she wouldn't stoop to sister-in-law's level and do it, although she was mad that I was just a guest at my brother's wedding and urged me not to let it slide. I told her that if she even tried to wear white, I wouldn't let her go through with it. She bought a black dress and said she'd wear it to the wedding, and I believed her. As we were preparing to go, she came downstairs wearing a white strap dress. I lost it and asked what the hell was wrong with her. She said I wouldn't understand and that I shouldn't involve myself in women's disagreements. I told her to just stop and change, or I wouldn't take her with me. She argued about returning the black dress because it was too tight, which was true, but I'm sure this was a deliberate move on her part. She tried to get me to let it go since we were late for the wedding, but I insisted she change. I told her she was ruining this for my brother, not just sister-in-law. She refused, I called her petty, and then I left. I went without her, and although everyone was asking about her, they understood why she didn't come. They assumed it was because of her beef with sister-in-law. I found about 11 texts, all containing choice words directed at me and sister-in-law. She went to stay with her sister, who got herself involved and called me and my family toxic and abusive. My mom heard, and the crap show began. Thankfully, my brother and sister-in-law don't know what's going on, although my mom says they deserve to know what type of person my wife is. Now I'm stuck between my family and my wife, who refuses to come back, saying I need to make it right, whatever that means. My question is, am I the a-hole for not letting her go to the wedding wearing white? Should I have just left this between her and sister-in-law? I did this for my brother. So, in your first paragraph, do you mean that your wife has worn white to someone else's wedding before this time? Man, you need to rethink who you're married to. And she's this mad over you not being in the wedding party? I hope you don't have kids. You need to do a Homer Simpson back into the hedge meme out of your marriage. Yes, she did. But that was years ago, even before we got married. She tells it as a funny story, when in reality, it's just pettiness and hatred toward the woman. Oh man, I admit my wife has some negative qualities that seemed minor or trivial back then, but now it's like they're amplified. I don't know how to handle it except to be assertive and put boundaries in place, but obviously it's not working. Wait, she told you she did that while you were dating and you still proposed? She sounds like an absolute nightmare. Being that petty isn't normal. If nothing else, she should have enough respect for you not to pull that crap at your brother's wedding. Find a good doctor attorney. You deserve better. Your wife, a grown woman, decided to wear white to a wedding because she's beefing with the bride instead of just staying home, then called you a bunch of names because you didn't enable her, but you're the toxic and abusive one? I hope you told your wife not to return until she can learn to be an adult. You should also tell your brother and sister-in-law what your wife was planning to do. She reaped what she sowed. If you had shown up with your wife, it wouldn't have just been between her and your sister-in-law. Your relationship with your brother would be strained because you allowed your wife to show up in white for the sake of staying out of it, and the attention would be on your wife. Then your mother, who was appalled by what your wife had planned, would also have issues with you. An argument is one thing, but a wedding, and the color white, is the wrong time to leave this between them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for throwing all my sister's past relationships and how often she has cheated in her face when I told her I was done with her? My sister, 27 female, and I, 25 male, have never had a very good relationship. She sees me as the golden child who took up way too much of our parents' time with speech therapy for my speech impairment and hospital stays and appointments for asthma. Several times over the last 15-ish years, she has accused me of choosing not to talk until I was 4, and then talking with impaired speech to get our parents' attention or take it away from her. She told me I was manipulative because I could have talked at any point in the normal range, and instead, I needed therapy and doctor visits and worried our parents. She has also claimed that my past asthma attacks were for attention because I didn't die. This resentment has built a lot over the years, and she puts no blame on our parents, only on me. For example, she blames me for our parents calling to check on me when they went away for weekends with her. She blames me for them asking our grandparents to call if anything happened to me. She blames me for every text they sent while she was with them. She told me that they couldn't even stop checking on me for the 3 days she had them all to herself. A few times, I brought this up to our parents in front of her so they could talk it out, and she would shut it down and act like she understood, and everything was fine. And then she told me her issue was with me and not them. Related to all of this is how much she resents me for spending days or weekends with our grandparents and getting their time when she was with mom and dad. But she didn't want mom and dad to have me alone without her either. It pissed her off really badly if she had a grandparent sleepover but mom and dad left me at home with them. She was really mad if one of our parents stayed overnight with me at the hospital too. The other resentment she has is because I embarrass her with my speech impairment, her biggest issue being that I still have it and never got better and won't ever be normal, her words. She told me I sound like a dumb, brain-damaged toddler when I speak more than a few words. And that 100 years ago, I would have been in an institution and fixed or left to rot. Every time she says this to me, it sounds a lot like she feels I deserve that kind of treatment. Now that we're adults, things have not improved, despite me keeping my distance and not engaging with her more than necessary. I see her 3 times a year, and that is still too much, and her hatred for me still runs deep. Some of that is due to our parents calling her out on her treatment of me and for trying to exclude me from the family. Whenever they call her out or get mad at her for it, she does a quick change where she acts like it didn't happen or didn't mean what they think. I told them before that they should really talk to her without me around and see what she says, because letting her drop the subject has not helped. I don't know if they tried or not, but if they did, I know it did not work. Then there's my other issue with her. It's the way she jumps from relationship to relationship and plays it off like they simply didn't work out when she has cheated on nearly every partner she's had. 2 of them were friends of mine. The first was in high school, and maybe it's petty to remember it, but she was cruel to him and shattered his confidence. The second time was a couple of years ago, and they were together for a while. She was pushing him to propose, all while she was cheating on him with other guys. Then she blamed me for that breakup, and then at Christmas she blamed me for her relationships failing. She told me I was too in her business because the friend she pushed to propose to her wouldn't talk to her or give her another chance. While she was saying all this, she also brought up the childhood resentments. She brought up the institution again too, and this time she even mentioned shock treatments and how they might make me worth something if they still had them. I was done with her in that moment. I won't tell you I struggled because I love her, because I don't, and there has been no love there for at least a decade, probably longer. The only reason I held back for as long as I did was our family, but that's not enough for me anymore. I told her she was a cruel bully who did everything she could to tear me down again and again, and that she blamed me for bouncing from man to man while she cheats on them, like I made her stick a guy's D inside of her. I told her I was done and that she could find someone else to blame for everything wrong in her life, because I won't have anything to do with her anymore. She called me out for shaming her to so many family members. I didn't hear it all, but she told people I called her a whore, and I never said that word. Our parents have corrected that, and they assured others that I did not call her anything remotely close to that. But a couple of our cousins believe I did it because I brought up the relationships. They said I was just waiting to call her names for liking sex and dating. I have stayed true to my word, and there has been no contact between us since Christmas Day. But with 2 cousins on her side, I am still being called out for the things I said, and they told me I'm the only one wrong, and that I have been unfair to her my whole life. I don't think this is fair, but I can admit I never needed to bring up her relationships. Am I the a-hole for what went down? Not the a-hole. Nothing wrong calling a spade a spade. And you didn't even call her anything. I called her a bully, but that was unrelated to her relationships. You are not the a-hole at all. Yes, bringing up her relationship failures was a low blow, but if we're honest, most of us would have gone with a low blow after putting up with how she treated and blamed you, especially for such a long time. Your sister needs professional help. I'm not saying she wasn't neglected. She may have been. It's hard when you have one child who has more needs. However, your parents should have made sure your sister felt important too. That said, now at the age of 27, your sister should know better regarding her treatment of you. She does need help to work through all of that. It's a shame your parents didn't get her counseling years ago, when it was clear that them talking to her had made any difference. I don't know if she was or wasn't either. She clearly felt that way and took it out on me instead of blaming our parents. Therapy might have been a good idea at the time. I wonder if it would have helped, or if she would have felt like they were trying to brush her off by sending her to therapy. With how resentful she is, I'm really not sure. But I do wish her feelings had been directed at our parents and not me, because if they didn't do right by her and made her feel second best, that was on them and not on me. I don't think she will ever be capable of seeing it unless she's open to the idea. I don't even think therapy would be of much help now, because she can always twist things in her head to be my fault. Last story. Am I the a-hole for saying not my problem when my ex couldn't afford rent? I'm coming here for full judgment and also for some advice on how to ignore situations like this in the future. I hate how this happens so much. I can't wait to leave. So my ex-husband, Nick, was a man who was so full of himself, but now he's just a desperate man who wants to make others miserable. Background: I'm 33 female, Nick is 34 male, and Stacy is 36 female. Nick and I were married when I was 19. I met him in Hawaii on vacation, and we were close ever since. We were so obsessed with each other. The way we talked about our future would make someone think we would stay together until we were 90. We had our first child, the best thing ever. We had our second child, and we were really making the small family we wanted. What I didn't know was that he was being unfaithful. 2 years ago, going on 3 tomorrow, was when I found out he was cheating on me with my so-called best friend. The worst betrayal ever. Was I not good enough? They also had a 1-year-old at the time. I assumed the baby was her boyfriend's because she was in a relationship at the time. I immediately called for a divorce. They could have each other because I was over him. Now we co-parent together. He gets his weekends and so do I. He now has 4 kids with Stacy, a cute family they have. I do try to be civil. Stacy would try to get back on speaking terms with me. She crocheted hats for the girls when it was cold. She's apologized many times, and I forgave her, but not to be friends again. His behavior has changed. He used to be really confident and bold, but now he's quiet and awkward. We both changed. He's gained weight and has a long beard now. So this week was my kids' week with their dad. They would groan every time. They don't like going because they said Stacy is very annoying and is trying to force a relationship on them. First of all, don't force a relationship on my kids when they don't want one. I was going to talk to Nick about it. The time of the drop-off was fine. I told Nick what the kids said, and he said he would talk to Stacy. We didn't finish because he wanted to talk more. He took his time to respond, so I assumed it was something serious. He said his money is pretty tight right now because of Stacy's spending, and he lost his job for sleeping on a job, so he can't pay the rent for next week. He wanted to know if Stacy and the kids could stay with me while he finds a cheap hotel or shelter. Stacy was at the doorstep. She had a black eye. Please don't ask where she got it from because I genuinely don't know. She gave me a weak smile and waved like she was in pain. She did have a baby 1 week ago via C-section. I didn't understand this. Okay, he's going through it. But what made him think I was the right person for this? He could have asked his mom, but she doesn't like Stacy. He has a lot of friends he could ask. I told him it wasn't my problem, but if he couldn't handle it, then the kids would be staying with me until then. It's been 2 years since you found out he was cheating, but they now have 4 kids. I understand why it might not make sense. They had a 1-year-old when I found out, but Stacy was already pregnant with their twins when the divorce was in progress. This year, they welcomed another boy. I don't think it's good for a woman's body to go back-to-back like that, but that's her and Nick's relationship now. So, wait a minute. Did he actually ask if his affair partner, your ex-best friend, and their kids could stay with you while he spends money he says he doesn't have to stay by himself in a hotel? Like, what? How does that even make sense? This does not pass the smell test and has disaster written all over it. Definitely not your problem. A hard, emphatic, absolutely not to hosting the woman he cheated with. He has options, he just doesn't like them. Still shocked. I think he only has enough money for one person to stay at a hotel. But Stacy was the one spending all their money, and he made it worse by sleeping on the job. They are a match, LOL.